Good evening, I'm Zach Roto alongside Casey Kreider, and tonight we have quite a few interesting stories. Here's a sneak peek at what is to come. We will be taking a look at how exactly the school days have evolved over the years, a studio interview with Hempfield's Assistant Superintendent Dr. Musser, elementary school fundraising, and last but not least, we will take a moment to remember the life of someone who left a major positive impact on the high school.
Stay tuned for this month's edition of Hempfield Happenings. Hempfield Happenings is a student-run news show from the Communications program at Hempfield High School. Tonight we have several great news stories that our very own students have put together.
Recently, the Hempfield Life Skills Cottage held a job fair which intended to give students some ideas as to what careers they might want to pursue in the future. Danielle Leachy explored how the fair expanded the students' knowledge in future careers.
The life skills classes get to experience what it's like to be employed and benefit off the skills they earn in the workplace by attending a job fair in Lancaster City.
This is the first job fair for this year. Last year the students attended 2 different job fairs. This one today was hosted by CareerLink. The students all have accounts with CareerLink as well as OVR, which is the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation. That agency helps any individual with a disability gain employment. So they help them through the process of searching for employment, gaining employment, and then maintaining employment.
Representatives from various organizations make it easier to communicate one-on-one.
I have been to a job fair last year with my older school. They got me to know what to look for in a job fair and like what to do. It was a little crowded, but it was a place I was familiar with. The people I met were very nice.
There's a lot of jobs there, and a lot of them are like real hands-on stuff with helping older people and then making stuff and that.
The job fair allows not just students, but the whole community to envision the future of career opportunities and expand their knowledge on the conditions of a work environment. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Danielle Leachy.
What a great opportunity for the kids to learn a lot more and discover interests that they may not have realized they had. Speaking of learning, as time goes by throughout the years, school days have evolved in many different aspects. Riley Klepper dove deeper into unraveling how exactly and in what ways the school days have changed.
The high school scene has changed a lot over the years, with everything from after-school activities to the classes. As the head principal at Hempfield High School, Mr. Daigle has seen the school days change.
Our normal school day, and I can think back to the high school, we were at high school, it seemed like from the morning to, and I played athletics, so I was there to the evening time oftentimes. But we were there and we were captive at the school. So a huge change that I see for us is a lot of our opportunities for students in 11th and 12th grade to find other things to do off campus.
But just because the days have changed doesn't mean they've gotten easier.
I think every generation they sit around, they think that, well, I had it harder than this new generation. You know, you always have that. I walked uphill in the snow both ways and all that kind of stuff. So, and I don't think that's true. I think when I look at what students are learning, the amount of information that they're learning, the depth of information that they're learning, far exceeds what my generation was learning. I don't think that parents can actually relate to everything that's going on in schools because it's been such a long time since they've been here.
The school day hasn't only changed throughout the years, but it also varies from student to student.
I wake up and then I come to school and then I go to chem and then after chem I go to art, then we have psych, then we eat lunch, then I go to anatomy and then I go home.
My homework normally takes around 2 to 2.5 hours to complete.
Even though the school days have changed, students are sure to remember what they've learned for a lifetime. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Riley Klepper.
I can only imagine how much more school days will change in the future. Our next story is all about how Mountville Elementary has made a new addition to the students' daily schedule. Ben Marinas went to see how these changes were implemented.
This year at Mountville Elementary School, teachers have been incorporating morning meetings into their daily routines. Fourth grade teacher Mrs. Fitzgerald feels morning meetings are an important part of the day.
I think that giving all of us a chance to come in the morning and check in with each other and find out what our day is going to be about and just to have a little fun gets our day started on the right track.
Her students enjoy starting their days with meetings.
I like playing the games because it gets us up and moving, like when it's rainy.
I like that we get to talk about like what's happening in other people's lives and like what people have been up to.
I like it because we get to know more about each other and the games are fun.
But learning support teacher Jackie Smith says there's an even more important reason for the meetings.
We have students who might feel like they don't belong as well as others, or different personalities and things like that. Having a morning meeting kind of brings everyone together. It gets the students to know each other better. It allows them to work out problems and things in the classroom and kind of build a sense of like the whole group is in everything together and can work out problems and solve things together.
Morning meetings are helping students at Mountville Elementary build a sense of community. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Ben Marinas.
It is always great to see the elementary schools in the district making changes to try helping out the young ones. Years from now, some of those kids may decide to play for our high school football team. Frank Russo learned about a unique tradition that the team has and brought you all along for the ride.
Many high school and college football teams use objects to motivate their players. I want to see how Henfield's varsity team uses it under the Friday night lights.
Last year, Ron Zieber, Henfield's head coach, implemented a sledgehammer into the team's pregame rituals.
We tried to tell our kids last year, about halfway through the season, that we need to be more aggressive. We need to be, get after people more instead of sitting back and waiting. So we used the analogy to be the hammer, not the nail. And the analogy being, the nail's getting hit constantly. The hammer's the one that's doing the hitting.
Every Thursday after practice, the hammer is awarded to the most prepared and hard-working player.
Taking care of teammates, that's what it's all about. That's what the hammer winners have in common. Luke Drege!
Riley Good, a recipient of the hammer, is all in on the aggressive mindset.
I won it like the first week against Dallastown, and it's like to bring it out on the field. It's like a great feeling because you worked hard for it that week, and you were able to be the hammer that week, and now you're going to be the hammer throughout the game. I definitely think it helps, without a doubt, because people have started picking up the intensity as soon as we brought it in last year. We saw more hits, people are being more physical, and people work hard because they know they want to get the hammer. That's something special on the team, so everyone works hard to get it, and I feel like it just helps the team overall.
How much heart do they have? How much push do they have? How dedicated and committed are they to practicing hard to make themselves better? And obviously everybody that makes themselves better makes our team better.
The hammer in reality is just a hammer, but the attitude brought out with these symbols are the real effect.
From Henfield Happenings, I'm Frank Russo. I missed.
The hammer is an original way of bringing the team closer than it already was. Casey, would you believe me if I told you I used to play football years ago myself?
Zach, that doesn't really surprise me too much. Playing football was never really my thing, though. The Landisville Intermediate Center recently had a robotics festival to further educate students in the fields of math and science. Connor Sensenig looked at how the assembly prepares students for robotics careers in the future.
Bring the power back to the battery side. Now we've proven it's safe, your hair's not on fire.
In the growing field of robotics, Landisville Intermediate Center has held an assembly to teach students about robots like these. On the 16th of November, LIC had an assembly about robotics. The assembly was part of the school's focus on fields related to technology.
What we did is Mr. Swatner, the principal at Landisville Primary Center, over the summer he and I sit down and try and figure out our assembly schedule to connect the things we're doing in the classroom. Our focus from last year to this year is we want to incorporate some more STEM activities, science, technology, engineering, and math.
4 AA batteries equals 18 basketball players.
It is important to teach students about the power of robotics because it's becoming an increasingly prevalent field. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, estimating 13% growth since 2014. While at the elementary level, the use of robotics isn't a specific curriculum, students can use their time to learn skills essential to the field of robotics.
The process of making that track was designing what you were going to do first and then making the fractions that would put on it, and then you would need to test out the game.
For young students, the education is just the fundamentals, but it is still important.
At the elementary level, it's more of an introduction. It's more of get a flavor of what coding and robotics is. For any student to be great at that next level, they have to be great at this level first.
LIC shows dedication to preparing their students for the future with assemblies like this. From Henfield Happenings, I'm Connor Sensenig.
I can put everything together to stay standing.
One thing that robots can't do is supervise a school district. Hempfield High School last month said farewell to former Superintendent Dr. Adams. With Mr. Bromersky acting as superintendent, we welcome our new Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Musser. Lauren Egger sat down with him in a very special studio interview.
Hi, I'm Lauren Egger. I'm here with the new Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Tab Musser. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So you are the new Assistant Superintendent. Could you tell me what your job really has you doing?
So really, I work with the principals, other educational leaders, and some of our district office staff. Really, my job primarily is to remove barriers so the teachers that are working with the students directly can do so and have all the things that they need to provide a safe, supportive learning environment for students.
And did you have any past positions before this one?
Not to go too far back, but I kind of got my love for education as I was a camp counselor early. So I became a special education teacher. I taught math and I taught social studies. And I kind of looked outside my classroom and said, you know, I think I could have a bigger impact on the school as a whole in another role. So I started pursuing administrative degrees. And I got my first administrative job as assistant principal at Centerville Middle School here in Hempfield about 10 years ago. So I was an assistant principal there for a few years. Then I moved on to Landisville Middle School, where I was the principal. I was the principal there for about 2.5 years before moving to Director of Student Services over in central office, and now in my current role.
Do you have a certain vision for the school?
Sure. I do want to continue to foster the vision of a safe and supportive learning environment for our students. And when I say safe and supportive, I mean safe from the physical sense, and in the news and all the school safety issues that you see, we want to make sure students are safe in the building. But I also mean safe from an academic risk point. Where students feel comfortable with their teachers and their staff, that they can take some academic risks and get that academic stretch that helps students grow. So we're continuing to focus on some of the social emotional needs of students. I think the learning that and rigor that students go through and the demands, sometimes that pressure can get to students, and mental health concerns can sometimes arise. So we're working with students to help them identify when they're feeling that way. We're working with staff to help identify students that are presenting that way and trying to establish supports for students so they can get the help that they need to continue to be the best student they can be.
And what is your favorite part of your job?
My favorite part of my job is the students and getting out in schools. I like meetings, I like different aspects of my job, but I love getting out into buildings, walking the halls, being with kids, and you know, it really helps center me and why I'm here and why I'm doing what I do each day.
All right, well, thank you for coming here and letting me interview you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. My pleasure.
Yeah.
You know, I'm excited to see what Dr. Musser has in store for Hempfield in the years to come.
Casey and I decided that we would take it upon ourselves to ask people questions as well, but in a much different fashion.
We went to a few different locations to try to learn what exactly was on the minds of locals in our community. We decided we wanted to get to know some of our fellow community members a little bit better. So we're here at our very own Hempfield High School to ask them some questions. Tell me, what's the weirdest thing you can think of?
Frog legs.
Flying pigs. Just really purple mushrooms that someone's eating in the woods on a really rainy day.
I just saw frogs for some reason. Just frogs.
No one was safe from our questioning. Not even our very own Katie Yoder. Katie, what's the first thing you can think of right now?
I really want some tacos.
Next, we decided to talk to kids, and what better place to talk to kids than Toys R Us? That's all, folks?
Wait, did they close?
Bro, I don't know.
Casey, I think they closed.
All right, cut the camera. We are now standing outside Wegmans to talk to grown-ups. I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Wegmans. Why are you asking questions like this?
Pineapples falling from the sky.
Armageddon.
Baloney.
Hey, little guy, I want you to tell me, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Casey, that's pumpkin.
Oh.
Food.
Capitalism.
Zach, what's the weirdest thing that comes to mind?
Casey Kreider. Oh, God.
I still am disappointed about Toys R Us closing.
We just really wanted to go to the place where a kid can be a kid. Speaking of kids, plenty of fundraising happens at the elementary schools in the district. Maddie Olson went to the schools to figure out where all the money goes.
Elementary schools from around the district have been finding fun ways to fundraise, from involving their whole school in fit walks to even collecting milk bottle caps. But most of the fun comes from what the fundraising is going towards.
Although every student might participate in a fundraising event, some students know little about where the funds end up.
So, do you guys know what you're running for?
Not really.
Fun? Yeah.
Nevertheless, some students have an idea of where the funds are going.
To raise money for our school.
For the PTO, saving money for the PTO.
Each school's PTO, or parent-teacher organization, organizes the fundraising events.
We are a group of parents and teachers that come together to help fundraise and do fun things for the kids at school.
The PTO's fundraising allows for fun activities like author visits, parties, ice cream socials, and many other events.
We fund field trips for 2nd, 4th, and 6th grade, and we also fund things such as assemblies and family fun nights.
The students enjoy the activities that fundraising grants them, especially the field trips.
Last year we went to the Capitol and we saw a bunch of rocks and minerals.
Were you at a museum?
Yes.
At the Capitol, I saw a big stuffed bear on the bottom floor.
Did you want to buy it?
No, it was really creepy.
Some enjoyed themselves more than others.
We went to Lancaster City and I saw a rock and we got $5.
The PTO's fundraising doesn't just benefit the students. Teachers are able to get school supplies or other equipment as well.
At the beginning of the year, all of our teachers get a check for basically anything that they would want to spend for their classroom. Throughout the year, if one of our music teachers or the art teacher needs something, they could always come to us.
Thanks to fundraising, the elementary school students and teachers get to have more activities and extra supplies. But most importantly, they have fun.
For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Maddie Olson.
That sure is a lot of talk about money. You know who else knows a thing or two about money?
As a matter of fact, yes I do. Daymond John is a well-known entrepreneur, and the FBLA Club recently received 300 copies of his new book titled Rise and Grind. Austin Groff spoke with FBLA about the connection they have with John.
The FBLA Club recently received 300 books titled Rise and Grind. The book focuses on how you can outperform, outwork, and out-hustle your way to a more rewarding and successful life.
The author of Rise and Grind is Daymond John, a well-known entrepreneur from ABC's television show Shark Tank. Mr. Bob Williams, a local entrepreneur who frequently speaks at FBLA Club breakfasts, was able to meet with Daymond John. As a result of this connection, the FBLA Club was given the opportunity to receive the books at one of their breakfasts. Mr. Anusa believes that the book provides important information for the students that will give them the opportunity to be successful at a young age.
In terms of implementing it in the classroom, we've begun to look into what are some pieces of it that we could have students read in class, or what are some pieces that we could include, especially in the entrepreneurship course. I think that's probably the best place to use it in order to get the full, well-rounded nature of the book. And just realize that it's not about where you come from, it's about what you're willing to do to get where you want to be. And I would think, the actions of just grinding and continuing to push and make sure that you aren't settling for what's really second best in your life, but you're going for what's truly best.
Students in FBLA aspire to be like Daymond John in the future by learning from his book.
Well, I watch Shark Tank a lot, so I've been watching it for a few years now, and it's kind of cool that we have a connection to him kind of to get some of his knowledge that maybe you don't see on the show.
Well, it's nice because we're going off to college. It's nice to get his input almost to see how he did it, so you can base he worked so hard, now he is where he is now. So if I work hard, I can get to where he is and maybe even past that.
The FBLA Club is thankful for receiving the books and will use the lessons learned in Daymond John's inspirational story to their advantage. For Untitled Happenings, I'm Austin Groft.
It is so fascinating to hear that the club has connections to someone as famous as Mr. John. Staying on the topic of money, a worldwide adventure experience organization fundraises money for an essential component of people's lives by hosting events for local nonprofits. Danielle Leachy roped into what this event for the Lancaster Health Center was all about.
There we go. Don't worry.
An exhilarating event held here at Ruoff Tower showcases the importance of healthcare and an exhilarating way to raise money for it.
Over the Edge is an adventure experience company that raises money for nonprofits around the globe by coming into their community and setting up a rappelling event.
Ryan Burrows and Jason Asbell of Gibble, Graybill, and Hess raised a sum of $2,700 for the event known as Over the Edge.
I thought trying to assist the folks that they're trying to assist with their medical needs was a great cause. And then on top of that, I don't really like heights very much, so it was something that was different for me, and I figured I would give it a shot.
Well, there are a lot of people in our community who do not have access to high quality and affordable health care, and typically those go hand in hand. Folks who cannot afford to have a medical home, who cannot afford health care, typically have trouble finding a medical home and have trouble finding high quality care that they can consistently see a provider for. So by supporting healthcare, by supporting a nonprofit community health center, you're essentially keeping the door open for people, for anyone to access healthcare in the community that need it the most.
Over the Edge has a worldwide presence and large audience on social media consisting of Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. It also has an official website.
When they bring Over the Edge to certain communities, those communities then market the event through social media just locally, like countywide.
Over the Edge Lancaster has been running for 2 years and is going strong. The event itself has raised a remarkable $24,000 for Lancaster Health Center just this year with 25 participants. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Danielle Leachy.
At Centerville Middle School, a new bell schedule has been created to allow students to participate in an academic, hobby, or leadership club of their choice. Ariana DeJesus followed in on how the new activity schedule was developed.
In spring of 2018, the faculty of Centerville Middle School completed a staff climate survey. Data showed that faculty felt that they had positive student support, high expectations in academics, and a safe school climate, but low ratings were shown in the social-emotional category. Teachers discussed different situations on how to help students connect to others and the school, thus creating clubs. Teachers, team leaders, and administration like Mrs. Muma analyzed what types of clubs there would be and the benefits for a middle school student to be involved in one.
Our academic club, so a history club, an art club. We talked about ones where there's hobbies, so we're offering a ukulele club, but also clubs that encourage leadership and service.
With the help of clubs, the staff at Centerville Middle School hopes to build confidence, self-esteem, and proactivity in their students, all while having fun.
And what we believe in is if students are involved in school, they're going to enjoy school more. They're going to feel more connected to this building, to their education, to the people in this school, and hopefully, it will help attendance. It will help how they do in classes.
A variety of different clubs are provided, such as cooking, card playing, and marketing. Students told me what clubs they found interesting.
Freedom, because it's what got me into being kinder to people. I joined yoga and meditation because everyday life at school can be kind of stressful. I figured you can just chill out with yoga and meditation.
Ultimate Frisbee because I like running and jumping.
We have done a lot of talking as a faculty about connectedness, about us as adults being connected to each other in this building, us as adults making connections with children in our building, and hoping that overall just makes it a better environment.
Centerville Middle School created clubs so that students can relieve stress, build character, and make friends. For Hempfield Happenings, I'm Ariana De Jesus.
That's almost all we have for this episode. Stay tuned for next month, and we'll have a brand new show for you focusing on the theme of safety.
One of Hempfield High School's former English teachers passed away recently. However, as Ava Keller explains in her final feature of the night, she was far more than just an ordinary English teacher.
This has been Hempfield Happenings. Thanks for watching.
Amazing grace.
On September 29th, here at Hempfield's Performing Arts Center, an inspirational soul was celebrated. Her name was Pat Kautter. Pat Kautter passed away on Monday, August 20th, 2018, after a year-long battle with cancer. Her memorial took place in the Performing Arts Center.
The idea for the tribute was she had spoken to Elisa Bear about what she had wanted when she passed, and a couple of the things were she wanted it to be fun, she wanted laughter, she wanted music, she wanted Cody and I to dance, and she wanted chocolate. She loved gospel music, so when we were planning the tribute, we kind of split it up into different sections to honor the things that she loved the most.
It's definitely a celebration, and so I think that's what Pat would have wanted, and so I know that there's a lot of joy here, and there's going to be tears, but it's a celebration, and she would have wanted that.
Pat has changed the lives of so many people in Hempfield through her involvement in dance theater, the musical, the fall plays, and much more.
My voice and where I am today and all of that, I credit to her. Just her support and her encouragement and her words meant so much to me, and I definitely found who I am because of her. Who I am as a singer, who I am a performer is because of her, and who I am as of a person is because of her.
It was just bittersweet to see everybody of so many walks of life that Kautter has touched, like family, friends, musicals, theater outside of Hempfield, and of course all of the things that she did here at Hempfield.
The last text I got from Pat was a simple message. It was the last thing she ever actually said to me. She said, "I'm here with tears in my eyes. Because of EPAC, I was able to live outside of the box." And that just says a lot about her, living outside of the box.
Pat Kautter not only changed and continues to change the lives of Hempfield, her influence extends into the surrounding communities. Outside of founding and running Hempfield Dance Theater, Pat choreographed and directed performances at Ephrata Performing Arts Center, the Actors Company of Pennsylvania, Prima Theater, Theater of the Seventh Sister, Elizabethtown College, and American Music Theater. Pat will be remembered for her many accomplishments and influence on everyone around her. From Hempfield Happenings, I'm Ava Keller.
And I will try